After 8 years on death row, I had already accepted that I was going to die. They said I killed Rebecca. My fingerprints were on the knife. My blood was found at the scene. I kept telling them I didn't do it, but nobody believed me. I spent years fighting. I filed every appeal possible. I pointed out every inconsistency in the evidence. None of it mattered. My lawyer eventually stopped answering my calls. My appeals were exhausted. My family stopped visiting 2 years ago. Even my own mother believed I was guilty. The only person who always believed in me was my grandmother, and she passed away 5 years ago. So when they asked what I wanted for my last meal, I thought of her meatloaf, the one she made for me every birthday. I wrote the recipe from memory, carefully noting every measurement and step. About an hour later, the prison chef came to my cell holding the request form. "What is this meatloaf?" he asked. "This looks more like a novel than a recipe. 60% ground beef, 40% ground pork, breadcrumbs soaked in whole milk for exactly 10 minutes. Yellow onion, not white, sauteed slowly in butter until soft and translucent. Fresh thyme, never dry. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, no substitutions. And a glaze made with brown sugar and apple cider vinegar, brushed on at 340 degrees just before it finishes cooking." He stared at me through the bars. "Why is it so specific?" "That's exactly how my grandmother made it." I said, "She's gone now. If I'm dying on Friday, I want to taste her cooking one last time." He was quiet for a moment. "We don't have some of these ingredients," he said finally. "Fresh thyme, whole milk, real butter. I'll have to special order them. I've got 48 hours, he sighed, "but I'll make it exactly how you wrote it." Thursday morning, the ingredients arrived, and the chef began cooking. About an hour later, I could smell it drifting down the corridor, onions slowly sizzling in butter. It felt like my grandmother's kitchen again. Saturday mornings when she hummed softly while she cooked. I sat on my bunk and cried for the first time in 8 years. Thursday afternoon, the chef ran into problems. The oven temperature kept fluctuating. He had to recalibrate and redo the glaze twice. "It has to be perfect," he told the warden. "It's his last meal." Thursday night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was afraid, but because of the smell. The meatloaf baking all night while I sat alone with memories of the only person who ever believed I was innocent. Friday came. Execution day. 10 a.m. and the food still wasn't ready. By noon, the chef said the glaze still wasn't right. At 2 p.m., a guard brought me the regular prison lunch because the meatloaf wasn't finished yet. 4 p.m. 2 hours left. The smell was overwhelming. Guards kept walking past the kitchen just to breathe it in. At 5 p.m., the warden came to my cell. "Your meal still isn't ready," he said. "We're delaying the execution. 2 hours. 6 p.m. The original execution time passed. I was still alive, waiting for that meatloaf. At 7:30, the chef finally arrived carrying a covered plate. He looked completely exhausted. He lifted the cover, and the meatloaf looked exactly like the one my grandmother used to make. I ate slowly, enjoying every bite. It was perfect. I finished the last bite at 7:51. 9 minutes left. A guard opened my cell door. "It's time to go, Preston." They walked me down the hallway past the other cells. The prisoners were silent, just like they always were when someone was being taken to the execution chamber. We reached the preparation room. The chaplain asked if I wanted to pray. No. 7:55. 5 minutes left. They began leading me toward the chamber. Then the warden's phone rang. He answered, and his face suddenly changed. "Stop! Everyone stop! What's going on?" "Rebecca's ex-boyfriend just confessed to killing her." "You're innocent." My legs collapsed beneath me, and a guard caught me before I hit the floor. The chef rushed into the hallway, breathing heavily. He slid down against the wall and sat beside me. "If that meatloaf had been ready on time," he said quietly, "you wouldn't be here right now." I sat there in silence, still alive, because my grandmother's recipe was too complicated to rush, and in the end, it saved my life.